Marko, this Force has done a lot really to work both on and off the field with that being our mission. Can you speak a little bit about what are some of the investments or forward-thinking things that the organization has been doing to kind of help move us in that direction?
Sure. So part of my job is the development of off-field opportunities for our athletes and for our organization. So the first one that I'm personally excited about is the partnership we developed with Carol Mack out of Cleveland Performance and PT. So Carol is a Cleveland native, played for Cleveland United as a youth player.
Love it.
Went and played Division I soccer at Duquesne, came back, started working for the Cleveland Clinic in their physical therapy department, was leading one of their athlete return to play departments. So she was really tied into the athlete. A lot of youth athletes were coming to see her in her early years in her profession. She started her own company, and she's done exceptionally well. So when we looked at our sponsorship with UH is going to be stepping aside, we're going to be moving forward with Carol and her company, as well as some new sponsorships. But Carol's company really gives us a great opportunity. Any kids that seek medical attention, so any kid that gets injured at a practice or a game, we now refer them to Carol. Carol sets up a 15-minute consultation with the family and the player, and then they provide that kid with care for return to play protocols, for furthering evaluation with orthopedic surgeons or just primary care doctors, whatever it may be. And then she gives our staff guidance on where's the child in their return to play, what's the injury, how long is this player out for, when that player is healthy to come back, how are we integrating that player back, what kind of physical workload is that player allowed to participate in. So we're not just throwing kids in blindly. Now we actually have a medical professional who's guiding us on how to safely return that player, not just getting back on the field, but how to physically return so that we're not taking a kid who's been out for 2 months and throwing him in to play a 90-minute match the first time they're back, right? We're going to slowly integrate that player back for their own personal safety and obviously for the benefit of this player long term. The other ones that we've been working on are 2 recent sponsorships that we rolled out. Front of jersey sponsor, which was Ream. Ream's come on as our front of jersey for our youth club, for our senior teams in the USL, as well as our Canton Akron United Force affiliate for all their youth teams. The back of jersey, Cleveland Dental Management. They're going to be the back of jersey for, again, our youth program, our USL teams, as well as Canton's youth program. So with the 2 of them coming on, it gives us a massive boost in our financial aid funding. In the past, we've had to fund it ourselves, but now through sponsorships, and we're always seeking more sponsorships for those that are looking to potentially join on. We have other opportunities with Juniors Academy, training shirts, sleeves, facility sponsorships. We got a lot still available, but every little bit that we get, and these 2 sponsors have been great. I mean, they are big sponsors for us. They're going to maybe help support 75% of our financial aid over the course of the next 2 years. So we're extremely grateful for them as sponsors, and we're really looking forward to ways that we can support them for supporting us. So we'll be rolling out some things to our families for, what these 2 great companies and their leadership can do to help our families off the field as well.
Love that. And you just spoke a little bit about the financial aid, right, and the sponsorship. Can you elaborate a little bit on what the club does to help players really participate in the sport? What can you, just share a little bit.
So what we offer, every year it grows. So every year we're expanding our budget. So there are times that we do fundraising. There are times that we create through sponsorship, extra funds, and some other unique ways that we can create some funding. So typically players or their parents that are seeking financial assistance, they provide us with a application in our Playmetrics account. Our committee reviews it, make sure that they qualify based on government standards. So then at that point, then we provide financial aid. This past year in Cleveland, we provided 6 figures worth of financial aid just in Cleveland. That's Canton awesome. Was a fraction of that, being that it's marginally smaller club. But altogether, we're 6 figures, and it's a large amount. But we're happy to be giving it to these families because we hear it year in after year is how thankful parents are that we're able to provide their children with that opportunity through our financial aid program. So that's where we just need more support. We're talking about potentially creating a fundraising committee through our club's parents. So it's essentially a booster club that we would be looking to put together so that parents can help lead additional resources coming in to support financial aid funding. We'll continue with our fundraising and all of our efforts that we continue to do. But again, adding more sponsors, adding a potential parent committee or a booster group made of parents would really help us go a long, long ways.
No, that's good call to action. I think for families to really think about, how can they dive in and help a little bit. We have a lot of great families that are already doing that, but the more and more people involved in helping provide this experience for kids will be great. I know we're making more and more strides in how do we involve ourselves in communities, different communities throughout Northeast Ohio, not directly going in and training like we've done in the past, but saying, hey, how can we provide value to you by either consulting or doing something like that, or even from an educational standpoint. What could you speak to as far as the club's initiative to really invest into their coaches as well? I think that's something that's people should know about.
Yeah, so Everett, that's a lot of your effort. I have to commend you on that. It's ongoing. We talk about creating budgets for internal versus external coaching education. Mm-hmm. I think one thing that really sets us apart is how much we invest internally with purposeful coaching education. All of our directors, our coaches, internal reviews, having multiple weekly director meetings that then permeates down into their coaching staff, from standardized curriculum to style of play to presence on the field, presence both in training and in games, parent communication and management, right? And it goes on and on and on. So that is something that we can control those tangibles in-house. Then the external is something that we always allocate budgeting towards, right? I think we probably have a larger budget than pretty much anybody else maybe in the state of Ohio. We really value coaching education. Right now, and it's a great thing to see, is we've got, I would say, about 8 to 10 coaches right now that are pursuing advanced coaching certificates. So you've got 3 right now that are going for their A license that I'm aware of, and I believe 5 to 6 potentially that are going for their C license that I've been made aware of. So, as a club, if you are a staff coach, we're going to provide up to 50% of your tuition reimbursement upon completion of your course. If you're a full-time staff member, we're going to go up to 100%, cover everything for you, so that we're investing in our people so that it continues to deliver a better experience to our athletes and to our parents on the field. And part of that old guard and new guard of the old course curriculum to what it is now is, in the past, it was strictly all on field, where now it's a lot of management of the environment. So it's really helping us in shaping the environment at Force by sending coaches to the C license, the B license, and the A license, because they learn environment performance.
Yes.
And how do they manage their environment how do they know how to communicate with players, give individual feedback, communicate with parents, how to think about periodization, how to create a seasonal and annual plan within their singular teams, within their programs that they manage. So there's a lot of value coming from outside coaching education that we want to continue to invest into. And we do that strictly from, our internal budget.
Yeah, no, just to elaborate on that as well, is that we've really seen that strategic plan, that investment, is really a long-term one, right? Because we're not going to see immediate return. That ROI is something you got to think about as a 7, 10, 15-year investment, right?
And it's seen gradually.
Yeah, exactly, right? But to kind of close that is you and I have been around for a long time, right? Seeing, and not to say we're old or anything like that, Marko, but we've been involved in this. You've done your licensing, I've done my licensing. We're seeing other coaches come through. But I think that investment has really started to shape our overall ecosystem, is a word that I use, correct? Like you said, I've been very passionate about our education department and kind of growing that little by little by little. But I think we're starting to see the fruits of our labor, right? We have some really talented coaches taking some really cool leadership positions. I think over the next few weeks and months, the rest of the world will start to see the initiatives we've taken to have more female staff, right? Investing in them and them growing, more investment into all of our platforms, right? I think that's something that was always out there in the ether, if you will, that, one program gets more care than maybe another program gets more care. But I think as people start to peel away the little layers, they're starting to see that systematically we've really been keeping our integrity and doing what's been asked of us as far as, hey, how do you grow these individuals? How do you do that? So the internal part, the weekly meetings, the staff development, the common language that we're creating right now, those have been amazing. So without the investment of the business side and that kind of strategic planning, I don't think we'd ever have gotten to where we are today on the on-field piece. So I think that investment as an organization to both look at off-field, living our mission, and on-field living our mission has been really cool. And I just want to make sure, we kind of just touched on that to say, hey, look, not only are we trying to invest in like who we are, right, but we brought in outsiders with Carol, right? We have others that are seeing that in Ream or the Cleveland Dental and all these others. It's like, wow, there's something going on here, right? So all these investments have really driven a passion to kind of go out and influence others. So I just thought that was really cool, when we stopped and reflected on everything, to go, man, our coaches have gotten better. People are starting to see what we're doing. They want to be a part of it. And I just look forward to continue to do that in the investments we have coming up down the line.
So Everett, you mentioned your coaching education department. I think that's something that makes Cleveland Forest maybe one of the most unique clubs, not just in Cleveland, not just in Ohio, but maybe across the entire country. We've purposely invested into coaching education staffing internally. Can you talk a little bit about the timeline of when that started to what's next with that program? Because this is really the first year that we're really going to be able to expand it and really have it impact from top to bottom, with a primary focus in the grassroots zone 1 area.
Yeah, no, 100%. It is very unique to Cleveland Forest. Very unique. So unique that I've been recently asked by U.S. soccer instructors and the education department to be a part of a think tank where some of the things that we do at that education level, we will start to beta test and do inside of Cleveland Forest. As a small example, the D course is a 9-week program. So we've actually now recalibrated our overall annual calendar so that we can deliver 2 courses per year to our internal staff, right? So we're investing a human commodity to primarily focus, not just to go out and coach the kids on the field, but to develop the coaches that work with the kids on the field, right? So like you said, at that grassroots level, we looked at it and said, how can we have the greatest impact, right? Yeah, we're getting better on the field. Yeah, absolutely, we have great coaches.
It can't be one coach, one team impact.
It can be that way, right? It cannot, because one coach with 12 kids. But now if I have one coach that understands the environment to impact 50 kids and do it professionally, do it with the thought of rapport with the family, with the player, with the rest of their staff, that's going to go a long way for us as far as our education is concerned. So internally, our goals this coming year is to be able to facilitate 2D courses internally for us. I'm blessed to be a U.S. soccer instructor, so we can facilitate that in-house.
And that's the key in this, is you have certain licensure that allows you and only you to be able to do that with U.S. soccer's coaching education.
Yes, definitely blessed. And like you said, and when you're asking me the question is, when did that start, right? That started 12 years ago, where, how do I say this? The organization invested in me to then have the vision of what does this look like in a decade from now, right? So that was pretty cool too. I think that's a good way to think of the investments we've made, right?
It's certainly purposeful,
Yeah,
but that's also
purposeful.
a passion of yours. So
Absolutely.
Not to say it was selfish a little bit, but it was definitely your passion. It still is.
Isn't that how things get done?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you got to have someone that has a vision and has the drive to facilitate that vision. And I mean, that's kind of interesting. When I first brought the concept up, it was a foreign concept here in our area and even across the United States. Because when I was going to get that licensing to be U.S. soccer instructor, academy director, my A license, and now working on some licensing abroad, it's all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, you can do this back home, right? You can start to cultivate this, but you got to have a passion for it first, right? So yeah, we are very blessed that the organization invested into me, that I had the drive and desire to keep going with it, because it took over a decade to get there. So yeah, we are very unique and very happy to have that. And also, I'd even go a step further. We're also blessed to have a lot of these other, we have alliances we've built where other clubs are starting to really start to think about this education thing because of the personal relationship that we built over time. So yeah, I don't like to speak about myself too much in that sense because it's been a group effort when you look at it. But yeah, no, we're really lucky to be able to do this D-Course stuff coming up. Internally, we've created a structure where we meet with our directors. So we also work with a young lady, Robin, right? Talks about subcultures, right? We work with our staff not only on the footballing piece, but we've also invested into our staff with off-field development, leadership development,
Correct.
Right? Just continuing on the investment into ourselves, we've and investment in the organization as a whole. We've partnered with a lady named Robin, who's done great things for us, both for us individually and for the team. Can you just tell us who Robin is and kind of what she does for the organization?
Sure. So Robin Merrill is our leadership initiative guru. Robin is with Connection Worldwide. She is a resource that is provided to us through Toka Football. Toka has provided this to us at no cost. Robin has been with us now since we first came on. You and I looked at it for years. We're saying, how do we individually, and then you and I as a duo, how do we continue our leadership development? So what Robin has been able to provide us with when we sought it out was absolutely, this is what I do. I would be happy to do it. So now it has gotten to every one of our full-time directors and some fringe directors as well that are looking to come in. They've, it's now grown to this massive group of people within the force that are now looking at, monthly calls with Robin that are really looking at, relationships between us as colleagues, right? Looks at us and how we manage our at-home environment, our work environment, figuring out that work-life balance, and where is our 70-30,
70-30.
right? So shout out to Robin on that one.
Yeah.
She's done a great job, and admittedly, not every one of our colleagues bought in right away.
Yep.
Because leadership development is something that takes time, and you have to have passion in yourself to develop those around you, right? So develop yourself, develop others. So she has been tremendous in that value to us. She has put us through a 12-month program for year one. I think we're about 10 months into it.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a call with her later tomorrow to get ready for our next call in a few days. So she has provided great resources. She is a great resource for our individual people on one-on-one calls as well. So, I do one-on-one calls with her. I believe you do one-on-one calls with her. So, when we get stuck on something that we just don't know how to manage a certain situation with a colleague or even at home, she's open to us for everything. So that is a resource that, to me personally, is invaluable.
Yeah.
I try to respect her time and not take too much of it, but she is always there for us. She helps lead us, helps us really think about ourselves in a healthy manner so that we can be the best version of ourselves to impact the kids we work with, the people we work with, the families we work with. So we are very blessed to have Robin in our lives. Yeah. Shout out to Robin. Thank you for everything, Robin. We love you. We appreciate you. We can't wait to keep working with you.
Yeah, I can't wait. Just to continue to build on that, we talked about investment into the organization, right? Sponsors. We spoke about our coach education. Now, even taking a step further, what makes Force unique is that we continue to invest on our internal development, right? This isn't things that, as a parent, you're going to see all the time, right? But I think it's cool to know that you're part of an organization that is trying to continue their own growth and help others gain knowledge. Also humble enough to kind of understand our role, that we can't be stagnant, that we've reached out to outside resources that aren't just football centric to help our leaders become better leaders, right? I think that's really important because we're charged with growing more leaders. These young ladies and gentlemen that we work with, we hope in some way, shape, or form, both on and off the field, become individual leaders, right? So I think you mentioned it earlier. Some of our colleagues haven't really bought in right away, but isn't that nature, right? It's the natural way it is. It's the same thing about our players. And I think that Robin and the different organizations we continue to find information from have helped us all grow to be better teachers. Both of like the character side of things, the football side of things. So I think that's just been a massive investment in ourselves, both coach education, how do you build something internally, how do we connect with external sources that grow ourselves, and then also, like you said earlier, with Ream as a part of it, with Cleveland Dental coming on board, others are seeing this. They want to be a part of something like that. So yeah, like you said, there's plenty of opportunities on the sponsorship side to continue to grow ourselves, and I think it's important that families know that we are trying to grow ourselves to be the best leaders we can be. Not just Marko and Everett, but like everybody within the organization is benefiting from this. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
We're just trying to replicate what we've been doing.
Yeah.
You and I share podcasts all the time, and now it's starting to expand with who's buying into the leadership, mentality.
Yep.
So, our organization's only getting stronger and bigger and better because of it. And it has nothing to do with soccer, right? It just has to do with individuals investing in themselves and ultimately becoming better to invest back into the kids that they work with.